Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
We're all right. All right. It's another day, and a lot more articles and video clips are popping up on the internet about the ports. But we had a bit of a rant yesterday, so let's talk about something else.
Yes, let's talk about something else. The citrus season has been over long enough for CGA to be putting out some information about all their stats. You want to share this, and let's talk about that.
Okay, this was shared yesterday. 2023 SA citrus export season, 15 kilogram cartons packed. Grapefruit 14.8, mandarins 37.9, lemons 35.6, navels 24.7, Valencias 52.1, and a total of 165.1 million cartons. So that is the actual figures released by CGA yesterday. So, and this is from their LinkedIn page, also on Facebook. But then I subsequently found an article. Just put it in here. This is in the Business Day. Headline is a little bit clickbaity. Citrus export badly affected by problems caused by Transnet and Eskom. EU rules about false codling moth and fungal disease citrus black spot will cost South African citrus industry 3.7 billion rand annually. Okay, so it's not a long article. Let me just quickly start here. Citrus exports remained flat during 2023 season, missing an industry target as SA's electricity and logistical problems worsened, the National Growers Association said on Wednesday. The world's second biggest citrus exporter after Spain shipped 165 million cartons of fruit in 2023 export season, an increase of less than 1% on 2022's figures, said Justin Chadwick. I think these figures of us being the second biggest exporter, Egypt has made statements, Spain is making statements, we're making statements, but I don't think anybody actually knows at this stage who's the biggest and who's not.
Traditionally, the situation you just quoted about South Africa being the second biggest exporter, that has been the position traditionally for quite some time. So things might be changing, but to date, that has been the situation.
And that's also just on oranges.
Okay, interesting. Interesting.
As far as I know, it is only oranges, mandarins, and all the other things. There are countries that are bigger than us.
Yeah.
We might need to just double check that, but that is from what I remember correctly reading.
Yeah. Well, it's also interesting that you were saying that the growth has been quite flat since last year, and the projected growth based on trees in the ground is that there's going to be an additional 1 million cartons.
100 million.
I apologize, 100 million. Thanks, Diavolt. 100 million cartons coming. So in the first year of that 10-year projection, if it's been quite flat, it's going to be interesting to see what the next 9 years bring, and especially considering all those challenges that you mentioned. There's nothing new that we don't know about. I mean, Eskom, we don't even need to go there. The ports, we went there in a big way yesterday. These are massive challenges. And then the phytosanitary barriers in the markets that we're trying to export to.
Yeah. Congestion at ports, dysfunctional freight and rail network has cost farmers dearly and is affecting halting growth opportunities for the citrus industry. Then also about the false codling moth and the citrus black spot. The EU is SA's biggest export market, accounting for 33% of fruit shipments in 2022, followed by the Middle East with 19%. I wonder if that 2022 is correct. It shouldn't be 2023, but anyway. The regulations have resulted in decreased orange exports to Europe, predicting a further decline in 2024. And then it's just about the World Trade Organization that we've asked our fantastic government to step in. They can't even launch a dinghy in Durban Harbour, let alone sort that out.
Yeah. So there is nothing new there. However, you want to go to the other article that we've got here, which ties in directly with the markets and the phytosanitary problems, barriers.
Here it is. Okay, so now this was published when in Fresh Plaza. Just see is there a date here. Publication date Wednesday, November 2022. Yesterday. Okay. Gerardo Diana calls for immediate suspension of the imports of all citrus from South Africa. The chairman of Consorzio Arancia Rosa de Sicilia, I presume it's the Italian people.
Yeah.
Is calling for the immediate suspension of the imports of citrus fruits coming from South Africa and the application by the EU of the same measure applied by third countries to the export of olives affected by Xylella. I don't know, that looks like some fungus. Okay. The official data from the Europhyte Traces portal confirmed that up until October 2023, 51 citrus fruit batches coming from South Africa were affected by citrus black spot, the highest number registered so far. Of the 13 cases recorded in October, 12 involved oranges, a fact that refutes the decision taken by the exporters from this country that only oranges declared free from the disease could leave for the EU. We need to strengthen checks as we must avoid these diseases from entering our national territory, adds Diana, reiterating the alarm launched by the Spanish interbranch organization Intercitrus. Okay, the vice chairman of the consortium, Elena Albertini, added that we must insist on citrus fruits coming from extra EU countries to be subjected to cold treatment. This is already compulsory for the WU citrus fruit headed to the US, China, and Japan. So the EU should push for it to be applied to incoming citrus fruit as well.
This is what's published. We don't know the full story. There is a very strong suspicion that phytosanitary barriers are being used as trade barriers. We don't know, can't comment on it, can't say anything, but something like this being said in a forum like this is not good for our country.
Yeah, the senior deputy chairman of the consortium, Salvatore Scrofani, shares the same position, as he said that in order to protect our citrus fruit groves, it would in a way be appropriate to forbid the packaging of South African oranges in Italian regions that produce citrus fruit. What I understand from that is that bulk packaging comes in and then it gets repackaged for the supermarkets. So I don't know. It's the people are calling for it.
We don't know enough to comment, but what we can say is this kind of information is definitely not good for us. So we hope this can be resolved.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about something a little bit more positive.
Yes.
Let me just get this up here. Okay. South Africa exports more and more lychees to the US. Last season, 34 containers of South African lychees arrived at US Container Terminal Port Newark. Another 60,000 boxes arrived by air to Newark and New Orleans. This is an increase of over 300% in exports of South African lychees to the US year on year. Ben Halliday, Technical Director at AgriLink, a fruit and vegetable exporter specializing in air freight. South African farmers are known for determination and for providing high quality products. Lychee is still a delicate product, and the time from harvest to the final consumer is longer than when shipped to Europe. Exports used air transport for 100% until 2020, when COVID forced them to start to use sea transport. They are now starting air freight to supply customers as soon as possible until the first container ships arrive. In the United States, South Africa has no other notable competitors during the local season and acts as a counter-season supplier to Mexico supply.
Excellent news for our lychee industry. It's compared to the massive industries like the citrus industry we've just been talking about, and the grapes and avocados. Lychees the volumes have always been a lot smaller. But it's fantastic to hear. It's fantastic to hear that they have found a niche in the market and that they are exploiting it. Well
but
done.
this is also, if you think about it, the growers that's exporting this are probably making very good returns on this fruit at the moment, because it's in demand, it's in the right season, the right time. Everything is just right for them. Probably right cultivars, the whole works. So it would be interesting to know, in returns back to the farm, what these 34 containers has made versus 34 containers of citrus to Europe in terms of income.
Yes, that's a difficult one to determine, because you will seldom get those figures as they come. But what we can say is that it's fantastic to have cracked the market like they have, to be utilizing it, and especially to be finding a gap in the market and a demand. So well done, because managing all of that and getting the fruit through our country's ports. I mean, what did you say? I don't have the article in front of me. Did you say most of the stuff goes by air?
There's 34 containers that went, and then there was 60,000 boxes arrived by air. In the past, it all used to be by air, but now they've sent stuff by air just to get there before the containers arrive. Obviously, we know why the containers have not arrived, because it's stuck in our damn ports.
Yeah. And the thing is, lychees are reasonably small fruit, high value. So if your volume is small and the value is high, then air freight makes commercial sense. So it's great that they are managing to do this and that they're getting good returns. Well done. It's a bit of a shining light in a country where, fruit and exporting the fruit is becoming more and more complicated, especially with the challenges we have. So that's good news.
And I think the general person on the street, just like grapes and everything else, don't know what these export lychees even look like. They are big fruit. They've got a lot of flesh, small pips. They are stunning. I've not even seen them in person. I've only seen photos of this, but I know it's not the lychees we buy on the shelves in Checkers when we do buy. And I love lychees, and so do my kids.
So again, research and development and improvement of variety is important. And then we've also got something we found on the Subtrops website.
Because this was interesting, so we went to look for it. I'll put this link because there's a 25-minute presentation how SA Lychees successfully entered the US market. I'll just post that there. So I'm going to watch this video later on. Just to hear, because
it's interesting.
It's interesting to us. So yeah, go and check it out.
So good news for the lychee producers. The article about stopping South African exports into Italy, South African citrus exports, is a bit of a worry. Is a serious worry, in fact, and we hope that TGA can sort that one out. Good luck to them for that. It's a big one.
Yeah, I see that there's comments from Kunrad Frankel, works for CRI on LinkedIn. This is still the case. The production might be more from some countries, but the export of fresh citrus is second in the world. That is our combined export of all varieties. Thanks, Kunrad.
Thank you very much for confirming, Kunrad. We appreciate it.
And then he also commented, be careful to believe everything published in Fresh Plaza. It is sometimes
Exactly.
misleading and damaging. So that's why we will always say that this is not our, we are just sharing what we have found that is interesting to us. Thank you.
And that there are two sides to every story, and we don't always have that other side. So yes, we do take it with a pinch of salt.
Yes, and as we know this, but the thousands of people reading Fresh Plaza do not know this, and that is where the danger lies. Is to get the general public and most of the readers of these publications to know what the actual truth is. Seeing it in, well, we saw that with this whole thing in the report 2-3 weeks ago with this whole BE issue that was just a misunderstanding, is that the public is just going to read the headline and maybe the first paragraph, and they're going to make up their own perception, and that is the most dangerous thing that you can have.
Indeed, and that is exactly why traditional media is supposed to stick to a code of ethics where they go and find out about the truth and all of that. So we're not going to go down that road, but this right here is what is where the danger lies: publishing stuff that's not verified or that is biased in one direction. So that a very quick capture on what journalists are supposed to take note of. And these days, especially with social media, it really doesn't happen as it should. But
so thanks, I think thanks for watching.
Yes, indeed. I think it's a wrap, and I think well, good luck, wonderful news about the lychees, and we would love to see these lychees at some point. So
yes, for sure.
We get onto a lychee farm and are able to film this, or maybe even find them on our shelves. But
yeah, it's
well done.
It's that time of the year that all the sinners move to the Lowveld and Komatipoort area where they grow this stuff so that they can get, so that when they die one day, they're already used to the heat.
Anyway, have a wonderful Thursday. Go well.
Bye.
Bye.